very narrow. But here, everything is halal, permissible, unless it can be proved to be haram, forbidden, by the injunctions of the Quran and the Sunnah. So vast field, the taxation policy, what type of a government you want, what subjects you want, an authority you want to give to the provinces or the states, and what you want to retain for the center, etc., etc., etc. Wide scope. And now framing these laws now by the legislature is called ijtihad. Ijtihad, the root is the same as juhud, from which we derive jihad, to struggle, to strive. Ijtihad is to exert yourself to the utmost, to frame a law or rule about something which has appeared now, it was not present in the days of the Prophet. So you have to derive from Quran and Sunnah, and this inferring, deriving, so that you don't cross the limits of the Sharia, but within the limits of the Sharia, you are passing a new law. This is ijtihad. Quran says, Ya ayyuhalladhina amanu ati'u Allah wa ati'u Rasul wa ulil amri minkum. This is the 5th surah, ayah 59. O you who believe or profess to believe, I am including Muslim and Mu'min both. O you believe, who you believe, or all who profess to believe. Obey Allah, obey His Messenger. And people who hold authority amongst you, from among you, not Muslim. We are not allowed by Quran to obey non-Muslims, but we can be forced to slavery. We have been forced. But Quran doesn't allow us. Atiullah wa atiur Rasul wa ulil amri minkum, those who hold authority from amongst you. So we have to see to Quran, to the tradition of the Prophet, and then the people who hold authority. At that time the caliphs, and then the kings, and the modern state, it will be the parliament. Now, ijtihad can be done by any scholar, any learned man, any alim, but whose ijtihad will be enforced as law. That will be decided by the parliament. And this is what Iqbal said in his lectures. Now ijtihad would be through parliament. It doesn't mean the parliament is sovereign to frame anything. It can make ijtihad within the limits of the Sharia. And then every citizen will have a right, if he thinks that any proposed piece of legislation has crossed the boundary of Sharia, he can knock the door of the judiciary. Parliament has transgressed its limits, because in the constitution it has been laid down that sovereignty belongs to God and no legislation can be done repugnant to the Quran and the Sunnah. Let me have a chance to prove it in the court. Not any body of ulama, court, judiciary. And definitely in an Islamic state the judges would be learned in Islamic law, in Sharia. But it is not out of their belonging to some class of clergy, but the judiciary. They will decide. And if they come to the conclusion that yes, this piece of legislation has transgressed the limits of the Sharia, it will be null and void. But the matter will be referred back to the parliament. Frame new law. So now I have to make haste. What about the elections in Islamic State? Who will have the right to vote? What would be the age? Number one, it is adult suffrage. For every Muslim, he can vote. I missed one point. The caliphate, collective caliphate, is the caliphate of the Muslims, not of the non-Muslims. Someone who doesn't accept God as his Lord, as his ruler, he forfeits his right of vicegerency. So Maulana Maududi used the term popular vicegerency, and here I disagree with him. It is not the popular vicegerency. Popular means all the people living in that state, irrespective of their religion, anything. No, this will be the caliphate of the Muslims, Khalifatul Muslimin. Just as the parliament members in the democracy, all the citizens are sovereign, but they delegate their sovereignty to the person whom they are voting for. And now those people are sitting in the parliament and exercising the right of sovereignty, framing laws. In the same way, every Muslim living in that Islamic state, by his vote, he delegates his vicegerency to the persons who are sitting in the shura or the parliament. But they will be Muslims only. This is the bitter thing and very unpalatable for present civilization, the present Western civilization. I am coming to that. So now election can be, by mutual consultation we can fix the age, but all Muslims, men and women, will have the right of vote. Age can be fixed by mutual consultation. Amruhum shura bainahum. And as regards the candidates who come forward, I think his age should be fixed at 40, at least. Because in one ayah, number 15 of Surah Al-Ahqaf, Allah Ta'ala has fixed the age of 40 for psychological maturity of human beings. And then he has to pass through screening. What is his character? In Islamic state and in the court, no Muslim can appear as a witness unless he is screened. What's your character? What your neighbors say about you? How have you accumulated this wealth? Can you justify? So very thorough screening of those who come forward to fight the election. This is the only distinction. Otherwise all Muslim males and females are eligible to vote. Now coming to non-Muslims. Yesterday, more than one brother said that you have spoken frankly. So I have to be frank again. Non-Muslims in an Islamic state are not full citizens of that state, because this is an ideological state. It's not a nation state that people living in some geographical area, they are all equal citizens, irrespective of their faith, religion, creed, whatsoever. It is not the case with the Islamic State. Only who believe or profess to believe, only who are Muslims. I told yesterday that the basic of Islamic State and Islamic society is Islam, not Iman. Now what are their rights? They are free to practice any religion, believe anything they like. One God, 100 gods, goddesses, gods. They are free to worship anything, any person, any deity they like. They will have their personal law absolutely independent and free. They will practice their own personal law. The places of their worship, I said yesterday also, will be protected more than the mosques. They are sacred. They will be free to do business, to enter services,